starting at the age of 8. From studies of psychological mind reading, Phoenix the Mind Guy is one of Australia's most well-known and top illusionists, having performed on national television several times and having advised on set for blockbuster Hollywood movies and TV shows. Phoenix has headlined both of the world's largest cruise ships, as well as the world's only 6-star luxury cruise theatre, with his incredible shows. He's the only person to receive a full standing ovation by both the audience and judges on Australia's Got Talent in 2009. Phoenix is a master of human lie detection, predictions, and psychology that are bound with a hilarious and clean sense of humor that will have your guests dazzled and will, without a doubt, have your audience amazed and talking about it for months after your event. Phoenix has more recently appeared on both international television and radio, including some of Australia's top shows. With rave reviews from all around the world, no one can believe just how incredible these shows are until they witness them for themselves. And now, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the world-renowned Phoenix the Mind Guy. Welcome, guys, to another episode of The Wedding Master. Tonight, I have something a little bit different for you all. Now, I'm at the wedding tonight of Martin and Marina at Curzon Hall, and I have someone with me that is world-renowned, Australia-renowned, and let's welcome to The Wedding Master. Hi, Phoenix.
Thank you.
Phoenix the Mind Guy, is that right?
That is right. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much for coming. So, look, I've done a little bit of research on your show and what you do. Mm-hmm. Now, what I do as an MC is all about preparation, but before we get into that, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get into what you do? Actually, tell the audience what you do.
I'm what's known as a mentalist, typically, which is an umbrella term. It includes everything from psychological mind reading, body language profiling, memory, speed math, and hypnosis. I won't be doing hypnosis in tonight's show. That's a totally different show. But that's what a mentalist does.
Wow.
Yeah.
And tell me, how did you get into this? It's not like you woke up one day and said, I'm going to tell that guy what to do.
It wasn't far off, though. My dad was a businessman. He had a few books on his shelf, and he used to have a lot of business meetings at home. And one of those books was a book on body language. And as an 8-year-old, it was the only book that had lots of pictures in it. So I picked that up and used to sit in at the back of a lot of his business meetings and just learn to read people. It was amazing. It was an amazing start for 8, but for some reason it just gelled. I kind of, at that age, was able to take it to school and go, oh, well, this is a bit different with children. And then growing up with that knowledge, you sort of learn how different people adapt their body language and what they're likely to show.
Okay.
Then it took me everywhere. I went around the world, learned hypnosis in Las Vegas and a whole lot of trades in London as well. So,
well, I was about to ask you. So you're Australian?
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Australia you come from?
I grew up in northwest of Sydney, a place called Dural.
Dural?
Yeah.
Oh, hello to all my relatives in Dural. Wow, that's really cool. Okay, and so from Dural, you've been, you just mentioned Vegas. Mm-hmm. So where else have you been?
Most places around the world. I haven't been to much of the continent of Africa other than Egypt.
Yep. You've been to Egypt. That's
about all I haven't been to.
Wow.
There are some. You know what? I haven't been to Italy.
Yeah,
it's on the list. I don't know how I missed that one.
All the Italians out there. You must have come here. You must have come to me.
I want to. I got close.
You got close?
Yeah.
Very good.
Got to Malta.
You got to Malta.
Not quite to Italy.
Across the road.
Yeah, that's right.
Very good. Okay, so I've seen some videos, and if you want to see some videos, I'm going to actually have a little bit of his show come up at this point right now, so you'll be seeing it because I'm going to film it later on. But I've seen your show online and whatnot, and has it ever gone wrong for you?
Well,
like you read. Okay, so I watched an episode where he called somebody.
No, I didn't. The audience member.
Well, the audience member, he literally the audience member pulled the number out of the white pages. They called somebody, and he asked her 3 questions, and he had already written the answer. And everyone, including me and anyone watching this video, was sitting there going, like, how? You have the skeptics. I'm sure you've had many skeptics that say this, and that. So, has it ever gone wrong for you?
On that, Joe, I'm kind of a skeptic too, because that's one thing I always say. I'm in no way psychic. I go out and say, I'm not psychic. I'm not.
How do you read
psychological mind
phone?
reading? Well, Well, there's lots of techniques. It's a blend of all the techniques I mentioned before. Of course, there's a lot of entertainer value or icing on the performance cake, as I would call it. But has it ever gone wrong? Well, a better question is, has it ever gone not the way you planned? And quite often it can, but it's not what happens to you there. Yeah. As you'd know, how good of an entertainer is how you deal with that sort of thing. And sometimes, in the very rare occasion where it doesn't go as planned, often it goes better.
Yes.
So it's.
Did you have a laugh as well?
Well,
it's fresh.
Or the outcome is just something I didn't see, but better than what was originally planned. So that's how a lot of routines develop over time too.
Very good. Well, what I was saying earlier is, as an MC and a lot of wedding vendors out there, there's a lot of preparation. So what brings you to a gig? Like, how do you set up? How did you get to the point where it's now 6 o'clock, our bridal party will be coming in at about 7 and your show's at about 8 or just after 8. How do you prepare? Like, do you do a lot of research? You go through the names in the phone book and just say, what do you do? Do you ring a few people and say, hey, you're going to be at this wedding? No. Tell me your preparation first. Actually, no, I'm going to take one step back. How did you practice to become a mentalist? Is there a trade? It's not like it's a TAFE course. You didn't go to TAFE. Hogwarts. Very good. No, is it like, how do you prepare? How do you train to be a mentalist? Apart from just
over the years, taking all the courses, a lot of mine was I'm not going to say self-taught course, but self-researched, experimented, trialed, developed. And then I worked with some of the big names in the industry. Once you get good at certain areas, you can kind of trade off techniques with your equal peers overseas, and you form a bit of a little network. Yeah. And then you trade concepts and ideas. But honestly, these days, it's not as much about practicing as it would have been when I was growing up and reading and studying and hypnotizing. Now I spend the majority of my time probably just creating. The hardest part, there's only so many things that people do, but it's all about creativity and making it fun. And it's not just a matter of going out and reading someone and say, hey, yes, you went to this place this year and you loved this memory. That's impressive, but if you can make it fun and engaging and entertaining, that's
entertainment.
Exactly. Good. So more of an entertainer. I just happen to have a different set of skills.
That's very good. So now going to my earlier question, how do you prepare for a gig? So tonight we're here, you know the names of the bride and groom. How do you prepare for tonight? And now I don't want you to give her any secrets, but how do you prepare for a gig? Any gig, you could be, you do corporate, you don't just do weddings. Obviously, you do your own shows. Right. So it's not like you can literally get the names of people that are coming to you.
No, I have no idea.
No, of course. No. So how do you prepare? Like, is there a process, or do you just show up and go, you know what, I've got it?
I show up. I spend a little bit of time observing the crowd as well. But to be honest, in the setup, as you would have seen, it's more the venue, because you never know which plug's going to be where the audio switcher, because it's a visual show. I've got things on the screen and I've got sound playing. It's got to be entertaining. Yeah. So when that sort of thing is plugged in, you've got to frantic patch together to make it all work. Once it all works, that's it. Relax, set my gear up, focus on what's ahead, and then off I go.
Very good. Well, I'm going to ask you one last question, because I know you got to set up, and I'm going to start the wedding. Okay. So we said earlier, there's a lot of skeptics out there. Yep. So if you could say one thing to those skeptics, one thing that when they come to your show, and I want you all to take the time to go and see your show. From what I've seen, and I'm going to stand back, but I'm really looking forward to your show tonight. So, is it an open mind thing? Is it, is it something you would say, because obviously this is your direct channel to the skeptics out there, the people that, there is, and you're Italian tonight, don't get in the way of their food. That's my tip to you. Italians, they come to weddings, and if you're in the way of their food, you can be the funniest person, the most entertaining. If you're in the way of the food, forget it, it's flat. That's right. There's my tip to you.
That's why I never perform while people are eating. It's always after mains.
Well, good thing that you know. I've made sure that there's no food being served while you're up.
Thank you. Because otherwise, that's the thing. If you are booking a wedding, make sure the entertainment goes on afterwards so that everyone can be part of it and enjoy.
Your MC does that.
But, yes, he does. But...
Is it like go with an open
There's nothing
mind?
wrong with being skeptical. Look, two sides to this. One, if you're being hypnotized, you're in for the hypno side of things, you have to be open to it. Everyone can, in theory, be hypnotized. If you try and resist it, you won't be hypnotized. But then you miss out. Like, that is real, 100%. You just allow it to happen, it will happen. But with the mentalism side of things, the mind guy side, the psychological mind reading, no, knock yourself out, have fun. You can try it. Sometimes when you try and resist, your signs become even bigger. They're like big neon signs because you've got 5 times the sign showing that you otherwise would.
I'm actually upset that you're not hypnotising anyone tonight. Some of these guys might need it.
Yeah.
But look, thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me.
I'm really looking forward, like, if he had a couple of hours, I could say, look, put me under and fix a few things. But we haven't got that time. You don't need for me tonight. But I'm really looking forward to your show.
Thanks, Joe.
It's going to be a cracker. There's, this is our first wedding back with some big people. We've got 300 people here tonight.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the Wedding Master AU, and I'll see you next week.